we are applying trig laws. We have law of cosines and we have law of sines. Now let's just think for a minute here. The last example was law of cosines. Question 2 is probably going to be a law of sines. Let's just check it out. A nature lover decides to use geometry to determine whether she can swim across a river. Good for her. Way to use mathematics to determine if you're going to keep your life safe. She locates 2 points, A and B, along one side of the river and determines the distance between those 2 points. She then spots a point C on the other side of the river and using lasers and everything else, sights it in and uses what's the phrase? There's a point, getting distracted, sorry. To measure the angles formed using point C to point A and then point C to point B. How did she determine the distance across the river from point B to point C? And what is that distance? Diagram. You know 2 of the angles in this triangle, 35 degrees and 127 degrees. But with that knowledge, we actually know the third. So I'm going to say x degrees. I'm going to say x is equal to all the angles in a triangle add to 180, right? This is the easy part of the problem. 127, take away 35. Okay. Hey Siri, what's 180 minus 127 minus 35? Ghosted. Okay. 180 minus 127 minus 35. X is an 18-degree angle. Since x is 18 degrees, this is actually a law of science. We have an angle, we have the side across from that angle, we have another angle, and we need to know the side across from that angle. So these 2, I'm going to highlight in orange. We have x for degrees, which is 18, and we have 250 meters. Make a fraction. Sine of 18 degrees over 250 meters is equal to 35 degrees and the distance across the river. Now I chose the 35 because it's also the acute angle. We do have an issue with that. Like we got to be careful that we're using the acute side of it. But sine of 35 degrees over x. Now it's x because we don't know the distance across. There's too many x's. That's a y. Okay. Solve for y. You know how to do that, don't you? I mean, you cross product and you solve. Okay, here we go. Y equals 250 sine 35 degrees over sine of 18 degrees. Calculator time. Oh, don't do that to me. Move this. Sorry for the screen doing what it's doing. All right. Make a fraction. Do it over here. Do it with no glare. Really struggling, I'm sorry. 250 sine 35. Still a glare. Get no glare. Oh my gosh, this is so annoying. I'm so sorry. This is going to be the last part of this video. We'll go to the next one. On another video. Sine 18. 464.033 feet. That's the distance across the river. A little over a football field and a half. 464.033 feet. Okay. This has been page 607. Page 608 is next.